Anthony, it's just us today. What do you think about that?
The book is ready for print, buddy.
No way!
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Hey everybody, welcome to the one and only No Vacancy Live. That's Anthony Melchiorri. I'm Glenn Haussman, and before we get to what Anthony was just talking about over there, hey, I just want to thank the good folks over at Choice Hotels for sponsoring us through the end of the year, and give them a shot, give them a call over at choicehotelsdevelopment.com, and that /diversity, because they've got great programs now just for folks like you. Anyone that wants to get involved in hotel ownership can now be possible with the folks over at Choice Hotels. Get great brands, Comfort Inn and Suites, but they also got those Radisson brands, for example. Radisson Blue, Radisson Red, all of those kind of things. Country Inns and Suites. Ooh, Anthony, I can't wait to see more. Check them out. All right, Anthony.
If you're a hotel brand, Glenn, you would be Comfort Inn because you're Comfort Inn.
I feel very, very cozy. Let me tell you that. Man, I am pooped, but no one wants to hear about that. I want to hear about what you just said. Your book is ready for print?
Well, before we talk about that, how many states have you been in the last month?
Jeez, dude. I can't.
Let's
see. All right. So let's go back in time. I was in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York. I drove through Jersey, Pennsylvania, Nevada, South Carolina. Feel like I'm missing a couple of others.
That's 11. That's 11.
Wow, that's 11. And like the last, 3-4 weeks or something like that. Yeah.
I think I've been in 6, so you beat me.
But you've been to Florida and Florida and Florida.
North Dakota.
That's true, man.
It's New Hampshire.
Yep.
California. We've been traveling. So listen, the only reason I bring it up because it's really, really good. Like nobody's thinking about it anymore. Everybody's just traveling.
Oh, yeah, Colorado. I totally forgot I was in Colorado last weekend.
You on Black Friday, I go into the city with my kids and call some friends, see if they have any availability.
Yep.
And everybody's booked, which is great.
Oh, well, awesome. So are you going to be able to do your annual getaway this year?
Oh, yeah. I already booked my rooms. But there you go, buddy.
Awesome.
Oh, here, buddy.
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
If you put that in size 23 font, I'll totally read it.
Yeah. I have pictures, so you'll definitely read it. So today we have no guest, which is I would hate to say it's one of my favorite shows when we have no guests because I love all our guests. But I love when I have you all to myself.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. So we're just going to cover some of the things that are going on in the news these days. And Anthony, we've been out there doing speaking gigs. I had such a great time speaking to Hospitality Maine, and I was also in Colorado at the Broadmoor to celebrate Red Roof's upcoming 50th anniversary, which is next year. And they celebrated by making some big announcements that are out there. They have a brand new dual construction, a new construction dual brand prototype for their hometown suites and for their classic Red Roof brand together, which is really cool too. And they gave a huge check, something like $50,000 away to a major charity purpose with heart. So
that's wonderful. How is that hotel? I haven't been there. I don't think I've ever been there, believe it or not.
Oh, the Broadmoor, Anthony. You would totally dig the Broadmoor.
No, I know. I mean, it's like I've never been there. I've never been to France.
Right.
And I don't speak Italian. Those are the 3 things I'm insecure about.
Yeah. Well, those are just the first 3 things I'm insecure about. But it was so great going to the Broadmoor. The hotel was originally built up in Colorado Springs, in Colorado in 1918. And of course, since then it's expanded and expanded. Well, they have, believe it or not, just 742 rooms. It feels like they have many, many more over there. Most recently, they added they added more conference space, and now they're up to over 300,000 square feet of conference space. They got a ton of different restaurants, multiple golf clubs that are very historic. And I got to do some recording and broadcasting in this little library that they had. And it was the coolest little place, Anthony. It feels like the type of library you would picture when somebody is telling you about a Christmas tale of someone in front of a warm fire.
I want to go. We really should go, me and you.
Yeah, we really should. All right, I need to hit the stop button on my space heater because it's gone from freezing cold to I'm about to vomit. So give me one half of a second.
I'll tap dance. So what I love about working with Glenn with no host is that me and Glenn get to really kind of experience each other's inner selves. So today we're going to discuss, after our topical subjects, our inner selves. But before I do that, know on this show, it's a no politics zone, right?
That's right.
So no one knows where we sit politically, and no one will ever know where I sit politically, right? Because I'll just say I'm very by myself independently. Mm-hmm. However, there's a New York paper yesterday and it was a New York paper.
Are you talking about the little story on the cover?
That leans towards the former president. Yeah. And instead of putting, that he's running for president again, they put a little article at the bottom of the front page, and it said "Florida man makes announcement."
Right. See page 26. Yeah.
And then page 26, it says retiree and famous golfer decides to run for president. Now, again, wherever you sit politically, I don't think you know where I sit politically by stating that. I just think it is so sad. It's easy to say it's funny, but it's sad that things like this happen, where we just can't all just kind of like just all present as a United States of America and not like have these little digs. So that was a really big dig at the former president.
The New York Post and the Daily News, the two New York hometown papers over there. For those that don't know, they're considered tabloid papers. It comes from the original size of the paper. It's not really it doesn't really stay, because if you look at the New York Times, it's a totally different. It's a broadsheet, and then the tabloid are these guys. And one of the things they've always done is they've had really funny, punny headlines all throughout to try to make an impact. So, where the New York Times, you get serious, straightforward headlines, the New York Post and the Daily News always try to up each other with being fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was flipping through channels last night. If you go to CNN, they're talking about it. If you go to Fox, they're talking about growing tomatoes. They're not. It's not on their broadcast, which is fascinating to me. So, just kind of to give you an understanding of what's going to happen going into the next couple of years, I just found that mind blowing. And again, there's no political sway either way. It's just very interesting how newspapers and broadcasting systems decide what is important and what isn't important.
That is very true. And that's why I try to avoid all of those things. But, one of the things that has been coming up a lot in conversation these days, Anthony, is Airbnb. And there's a lot of people out there that really enjoyed going to those. And now there's people even more so. It feels like, at least according to what the news tells us we should be reading and thinking, is that people are getting very frustrated with Airbnbs, either with overly strict rules and regulations that they have to follow, fees on top of fees on top of fees, or whatever. And Lisa is saying, Anthony, I spent some time in Jacksonville, so disappointed in the level of cleanliness in Airbnbs and hotels. And as a host that cleans to your standards, I was really discouraged. Makes me want to start a YouTube channel, how to properly clean your Airbnb and how to be a great host to communicate properly. I think there's something in there that some people have left quality slip, and there's a good opportunity to help folks get better.
Yeah. I'm working with our doctor producer, Suzanne, on a hospitality program down in Florida at a university. And I will just say that we talk about that. I've made it a pretty a point not to talk about Airbnb and standards of Airbnb. I talk about hospitality, and everything that I teach on my show or on the podcast or on my keynotes or on my classrooms or whatever I do, it has to do with hospitality. If you own a garage, if you own a gas station, if you own whatever you own, a bakery, everything applies to hospitality. So I'm never going to pigeonhole myself to just speak about Airbnb. Airbnb is doing a great job, has done a great job, has made a lot of people a lot of money. but a lot of people got comfortable, meaning owners, with those fees. And when it's like going on a discounted airline, the time you get on a plane, you're at the same price as a regular airline. Airbnb, that hotel room that's $299 and Airbnb is $199. Time you're done, it's the same price or maybe more. So yeah, people are frustrated with it, but I'm not going to teach Airbnb specifically. I don't know enough about it, but I teach hospitality. That if you all you got to do is watch 108 episodes of Hotel Impossible, and if you're an Airbnb person, you understand. So that's my answer.
Yeah, I like that. So that's a good answer. And I do think, Anthony, guests are going to continue to be more discriminating as they go on, because pricing is so expensive comparatively to what it's been in the past for the typical hotel.
Yeah, and when you see things shifting with interest rates going up, and and then maybe people have to get a mortgage to keep themselves going through COVID, and then maybe they have to get another mortgage. And maybe one of their properties isn't doing well, and now they're going to try to remortgage it, but they can't because the interest rates are so high. So you're going to see it shake out. Kind of like if you remember going back probably 300 episodes, Glenn, I said to you, I don't know about crypto. I don't understand it. All I understand, I don't think it's backed by anything. And now one of the biggest crypto markets out there crashed and burned the last couple of days, and everybody's up in arms. And again, I don't know enough about it, but there's nothing backing it. With Airbnb, if you're not a real hotelier, their Airbnb themselves are going to do great. But if you're getting into this space, and guess in my business, I just had a conference yesterday with a bunch of people looking at in this business and giving them some consulting services. And I'm telling you, you need to understand the finances of what happens in your pro forma, of what happens when the market turns or the interest rates go up. And these people get in here thinking they're going to make a fortune, and they can, but you got to know the business. You can't make pizza if you don't know how to make pizza.
That's absolutely true. In fact, our friend Mike is saying, hey, like any industry, percentage of STR Airbnb is doing it correctly because they realize they're in hospitality. Many don't even get it until they're 3 months deep into it.
Listen, anybody that's in Airbnb that wants to talk to me or work with me, my company and my partner, we're happy to work with you. We work with several, but again, there's not a lot to it. You have to, any principle of business, make sure you finance it well, make sure you know the business, okay, and then hire experts to help you until you have the range. It's pretty simple. And you have listen. One of the things that you know better than me, whether it be apartments or Airbnb, a lot of these companies are coming together to standardize Airbnb, to standardize these corporate apartment hotels / apartments / Airbnbs. Yeah. So right now, I think the waters, and you could probably speak to it better than I can. The waters seem really, really muddy.
Yes, they really do. And that's because people are still trying to figure out where this is going to go to, right? Lindsay is saying, hey, you got to know the business, no matter the business. And she's absolutely correct. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Airbnb came in and hotels have started to respond. And there is a little bit of a muddying in there, particularly when you throw in all of these companies that are hotel products in theory, but putting their inventory now up on Airbnb. So I do think it is getting a little bit muddier. And those that are not the utmost professionals and those that are going to be a nickel and diming through cleaning charges and requests that you have to mow the lawn and that kind of stuff, I think they're going to be the ones that are going to run into trouble.
Right. And to her comment, the young lady's last name, I just saw Elton. I didn't get her first name. But to her comment, you have to know the business to get into the business. And if you don't, you have to hire people. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, me, Dr. Producer Suzanne, and Glenn had a little meeting that was started from our social media, our video person that basically takes our podcasting and cuts down the video. And he asked us to have a meeting. And he says, so how's everything going? And we were talking. And what I said to him was, you're the expert. How do you think it's going? And he was honest with us. Yeah. And we made some changes based on what he was honest about. But I had to ask him because he wasn't going to just give it to me because he works with us and he maybe wasn't so comfortable because he doesn't really know us that well. And and I wanted to know the truth.
He seemed to know us pretty good. He seemed to know us pretty well when he said the problem is Glenn is a horrible podcaster and should probably just go into dairy farming. I thought that was a little much, but other than that, I thought the meeting went really great.
Yeah, I think that was the smartest thing you said all day. No,
Hey.
in all seriousness, I think it's really important that it's not this. This is how I feel. Give me any business in the world, any business. I don't care what it is. Have me deal with, I don't know, airplanes or nuclear energy. Yeah. Okay, I will take the job, and I guarantee you I'll do a good job. You know why? Mm-hmm. Because I will go and find the greatest talent in the world, and I will listen to them, and I will bring them together as a team, and I will help them develop the team. I will help myself develop the skills through listening to them, and then we will run the company. Right. I don't know how to do 99% of the stuff I signed my name to throughout my career, but I made sure I got rid of people that were negative, got rid of people that were not at a standard to really kind of be on a team that has high standards. And then I brought in people that do, and that will tell me what to do, and that will stand up to me. I was just telling a story yesterday about it.
Right.
How people that work with me, when they stand up to me, we get a lot of stuff done. So I think that that's really critical. Is you can take over any business, but you have to hire people that know the business, and then you have to listen to them, and then you have to bring your creative juices and your business sense to the plan.
Well, somebody here that's a business owner. We've got Alex Thompson, Legaroo.com CEO. They provide international legal assistance for travelers. Pretty cool. Since duty of care is a trend right now, what do you think of Marriott offering travel insurance? Will other hotel chains pick up on this? Before we get into that, I don't think it's a trend. I think it's been around for a while. And we recorded a show yesterday that you out there haven't seen yet. And we actually get into that duty of care issue because in service department kind of universe, which we talk about, it's been there forever. Now, Anthony, mainstream, I see the airlines do that sort of thing. What do you think about hotels doing that sort of thing?
I think if they're going to make money from it, they're all going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think really it's duty of care? You think they're starting up an insurance company or giving insurance because they want to make sure that you're whole? Yeah, maybe, and that's part of it. But they're going to make money from it, and I'm sure any brand that does it is figuring out, does it work for them financially?
Right.
Is that another stream of revenue? So if the other brands feel that this is another stream of revenue, they will do it.
Yeah, I agree. And I look on my my airline of choice's site, and it's like, hey, do you want this travel insurance? And basically it's insuring what I already get from that airline, right? I mean, I may not get my money back, but I get an e-credit and I travel enough. It doesn't really matter. But you can see the logo of the insurance company right there, and everybody's getting a taste. So, it makes a lot of sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Maybe they can make it part of the upsell process when you get to pick your pillow, your insurance type, and kind of snacks you want in there, right?
Yeah. I think the third parties do it.
Yeah, and the third parties do it really, really well, as a matter of fact, I think also. So, Anthony, moving on to the next story that we have here. Our friends over at Nolan released their October 22 report on meetings. Events data for that month grew. Listen to this. The meetings grew 131.7% over October of last year. And in 1 month, from September of 2022 through October, they grew by 21.2%.
That feels so good to hear that. But growing 121 over last year is like, if I grow one hair on my head, I grow 100% more than I did last year.
I know, because there definitely were some events. It just wasn't nearly as meaningful. We got in some good events last year. Some of the major brand conferences I remember in October of last year, which kind of shows you where we were at. Hawaii was still kind of on that lockdown, sort of. They were really limiting who they were in. And Best Western was supposed to hold their annual conference there. Well, 3 or 4 weeks before that, they moved the whole thing from Honolulu to Las Vegas because Las Vegas had a little bit of a friendlier meeting environment. And they managed to put that together pretty quick and do it. So it's great to see that events were able to shift around. Events were able to still happen, but so many just canceled.
Las Vegas is on fire. Las Vegas is just killing it on every level. I'm really excited about the Fountain Blue coming in. I'm really excited about what's the other hotel the name just escaped me. So I'm just really excited of everything that's happening in Vegas, and they're just upping the ante. They're giving you creative solutions to your meetings and just different things. And you don't have to stay in Vegas proper. You go outside of Vegas. There's so many things to do for your teams. So I just listen. We're going in a couple of weeks, and
I know. I was about to say, time for a shameless plug, everybody. On November 29th, we're recording. You'll probably see it on the 30th. A show with the president of Wynn Resorts, which I'm really excited about. And Anthony, I'm just about this close to getting a major SVP from another massive casino resort for us to talk to as well.
You were the man, brother.
Yeah, that should be pretty freaking awesome. You know, I love Las Vegas, and anytime I get a chance to do some shows from there, it is absolutely great. Lindsay is really participating today. She's like, upsell on everything, everywhere. And it gets me thinking, Anthony, where are some good opportunities to create that upsell moment that's going to help drive money directly to the bottom line of the hotel?
It's always at the front desk. It's always in food and beverage. And it always starts with the environment you create for your employees. It always starts with training of your employees and understand and give them the why. The why. And that's how this is your incentive and you can make more money. But why is it important to the hotel? Why is it important for the development of the restaurant? Why is it important for the development of your career to upsell? Upsell is a dirty word to some people. Upsell to me is a beautiful word because it allows everybody to upgrade their position, upgrade maybe another hotel for the owner, and it gets people working. So, but you have to be able to teach it in the right way because 90% of us are not good salespeople. It doesn't come natural to us. The young lady that wrote that, I'm sure she can upsell me, ice on top of ice on top of ice, and when I don't want ice. So, but it's not natural. You have to learn how to do it, and but it's important at the front desk. Upgrading to suites, upgrading. We did something at a hotel in New York City where and it came out of a front desk person. Right. Everybody wants a high floor, so we had to make a decision on what floor is a high floor. So I'm going to say we took the 20th floor. So
that's funny. Those kind of decisions have to be made.
So everything over the 20th floor was a high floor, right? And it was like $50 more, and all it was 10 feet higher than the floor.
Yeah, right. That's funny you should say that because I always look to buy, instead of buying those concert tickets that are in section 1X, why not do the front row of the section 2X and spend $100 less on the ticket?
100%. And those seats are better.
Yeah, I had a front row balcony seats for Hamilton in October of last year, as a matter of fact. Wow, it's been a year since that. And we saved like $200 a ticket just by being in the balcony and being in front row of the balcony. It was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, I got floor seats to Sebastian, comedian, last year.
And
I got number one front row seats. I literally could touch the stage, and they weren't cheap, but they weren't really expensive like I would expect. And then I sat in the seat and I realized why. I was like this the whole time.
Yeah.
So Sebastian, I can never say his name.
Maniscalco?
Yeah, he definitely shaves his nose hair because I was looking up at his nose the whole time.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. And at my age, I've got to be really worried about that sort of stuff. They seem to come out of nowhere, and you never know what's going to happen. I remember I had in 10th grade, I had a math tutor, and he had like hair coming out of his ears, his eyebrows are out of control. I'm like, where are the people in his life telling him he's got to get that taken care of?
Yeah, right. I have had those people come and go in my life as well. I had a director on set that had that, and he just said, "Well, if we cut it, I just grows thicker." And I was like, "Then just cut it every day." Like most.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so, do we have any more articles?
Talking about the upsell, Josh was saying, hey, it's all about working with your staff to offer attractive options. And again, training. I got one more.
Training the right person. You can't train the wrong person. That's another thing. Training the wrong person is just a waste of everybody's time, right? You just can't do that. You have to train the right person. So I think human resources directors, VPs of human resources, I think human resources managers, I think in the next or now and going for the next 10 years, last 10 years, I said revenue managers are the most important people in the business.
You did.
Right. The first 10 years in this business, I said general managers. Then I said revenue managers. And I'm going to make a statement that the next 10 years, it's human resources directors. people in human resources are going to be the heartbeat of our industry. We have to select less people, but we have to select better quality people. And that is going to be very difficult. So we have to do more with less. And hiring a person that you don't have to motivate, and hiring a person that's saying, sir, ma'am, I'm done. Can I have another? Those are the people we need to find. And those are the people that we really need to put money and time and training into human resources, to education. What Colin did, I was talking about yesterday, with this education class where you get a certification and upgrade on your pay.
Mm-hmm.
If you finish this certification class in leadership. And again, I'm still like overwhelmed by the feeling I got with these people that really didn't have the resources to maybe go to college and working at line levels, that did an amazing job, and they were so proud, and now they're going to the community college in the area. Anyway, so that's what we need to focus on in the next 10 years.
I think that's great. And I got to tell you, John Carpenter agrees. Retention is the talk for the next 10 years. And the HR team is so important. They will be the business. They will be the business partner to keep them. And Joshua is following up. Here at Virgin, we look for personable and outgoing people. You can train an outgoing person to do just about anything. Find people who want to be the best version of themselves, and they will present that to the guest, right?
Yeah, and he definitely presents very well, because he found me standing on the street corner looking at this hotel, and he invited me in, and he showed me around the Virgin Hotel in Chicago. So,
that's the guy.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
That's really cool. Awesome. All right, I got a question that just came in. I suspect you'll be able to answer this one. Good afternoon. We're developers of new construction hotels, sharing with you regarding their experience during the construction process. What have people shared with you regarding their experience during the construction process? If you had to select between two different contractors who submitted the same cost for a project, what is a deciding factor for you in making that decision?
You're now encroaching on my consulting business. So you have to send me no. Let me read that. Let me read that out loud. I'm just kidding. Let me read that out loud.
All right. There's a word missing in
what are developers of new construction hotels sharing with you regarding their experience during the construction process? If you had selected between two different contractors who submitted the cost for same
cost for a project.
Same
deciding factor.
The deciding factor. It's definitely in construction. Great question. References, big time references in construction. I think it is the most important thing, more than price, because we all know that once you get a construction contract and you sign it, then it's change order. So I want to know how those contractors deal with change orders. I want to know what percentage of that contract wound up in change orders. I want to know how they work. I want to know how they communicate. I want to know if the owner is going to show up. And what happens in the last 20% of the project, what always happens is they got 80% of their money and they're gone working on another project, and they give you their B team to finish up the project. So to me, there's no more important thing than references, drilling down and interviewing the people that are going to be on the project. And I can't tell you that there's been any project I've worked on where that's been the difference. You know, I've worked on projects where I was brought in. I worked with contractors I want to shoot myself, and I've worked with contractors because they did a good job before they signed the contract in really, really, really understanding who these people are, and they've been amazing. Just recently, I dealt with a very good contractor. At the end of the contract, he started getting a little hairy, but all in all, he did a really amazing job. So I think that that's really one of the most important things. There was a contractor I worked with down in Florida. His name's Anthony, and his father built the company. Him and his brother run it, and they did a great job. And they were there from beginning to end, and they're wonderful people.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. Great answer, Anthony. You had a lot on that one. That's pretty cool.
But it's you know what? Listen, it's you can't have fun in this business if you don't build well, and if you don't finance well, and you don't start well. I love having fun in this business. But the playground's got to be built right, and it's got to be built firm so everyone can play. So I've learned just a lot over the years that if that foundation isn't built the right way, I was just talking to a friend of mine that's running. I'll just say he's running a hotel in the city, And I knew exactly who built the hotel simply because of the problems he was having. And he goes, "How'd you know that?" I said, "Because I've worked with him several times, and that's I know you're going to have those problems because I have those problems."
Now, there is one issue in the hospitality business that folks may or may not be aware of, and it's the strategy of building a property and then wanting to get out of that property and sell it in 4 or 5 years or whatever that might be. Now, I'm not saying this is the general rule, but there are individuals out there that may not build that property in a particular way because they're going to be exiting after 5 years. They may not be having the regard to put stuff in there that lasts 20, 30, 50 years.
Well, I agree and disagree with that. Well, I don't disagree with the statement. That is a true statement.
Yeah.
Most people have an exit strategy for every business, right?
Agreed, yes.
Especially when you're talking about this kind of money, right? There's whether it be a fund, whether it be a family, whether it be a family fund, whether it be 5 friends trying to build a business. Everybody has an exit strategy. Okay. Unless you're retired and you got a lot of money and you just want to have fun with one hotel. That to me it should not dilute the fact that you have to build a beautiful hotel and you have to build the hotel right. Because when somebody comes in and appraises your hotel, they're going to find all the things you cheaped out on, and that's going to lower the cost.
Right.
Lower the price. Say.
Yep. I agree. Makes a lot of sense. All right, Anthony, I've got one more story I wanted to talk about today. And this is actually surprising to me because the now retired Roger Dow, U.S. Traveler, worked so hard to change all of this. And we were doing such a great job, but I suspect COVID's kind of screwed up. So to get to, make short story long, what we're finding is 1 full year since the U.S. has reopened its borders to inbound air travelers, there's now 400+ day wait times for first-time visitors that are out there. For example, Brazil, India, and Mexico, wait times for visa are 317, 757, and 601 days, respectively. And U.S. Travel is estimating that's going to cause over 7 million potential visitors and $12 billion in projected spending to just vaporize in 2023. What do you think about that?
Why is that?
Because we have a history of not really funding the people overseas in order to be able to process those visas and get that done. For example, historically, before the shutdown, China was becoming an ever increasingly important driver of travel to the United States, but they would only have an office to go get your visas in like Beijing and Shanghai. And then you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other massive cities there that don't have people, causing people to have to travel really far. Additionally, those offices that are open are typically understaffed, which means processing of all of these things take a lot longer. They had tried putting into place remote type stuff. I don't know what the situation is with that right now, but the whole idea is I could do this from my home in whatever city I'm in around the world, speak to a U.S. consulate member, take care of it, and then I guess do the rest of the paperwork by mail. So I don't know what's going on. My guess, Anthony, is it has a lot to do with the lack of individuals that are working in there.
Listen, what's focused on gets done, and the government has to want to do it. And I know there's a lot of lobbying from the hospitality industry, and we have some of the best in the world out there fighting for us. So I don't have any answers to that other than what gets focused gets done. And there's no focus, so it's not going to get done. And
that's true. That's the amazing thing about the United States. If we want to do something, we will do it. Now, according to the last bit of information here, travelers in the United States are estimated to spend $1.1 trillion in 2022, just about 10% lower than 2019 levels overall. Imagine if we had that roaring business from overseas coming over here.
Imagine if people would do the right thing in government. Imagine what would happen.
I can't even imagine. My head would explode. I don't think I could deal with that.
We listen, right now we have, if I was the PR manager of this country, we have a PR problem, right? And so I would focus on what's great about this country. And I will tell you, as a person, and you've traveled extensively as well, that's been in over 50 countries. Every country I've been in, I think without exception, I can find a space in this country that looks like the space in the other country. Okay, whether it be Spain, whether it be even Vietnam, or wherever in the world I traveled, our country is gorgeous and one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been in my life. And if you want mountains, go to the Catskills in the fall. Your brains will blow out of your head. Matter of fact, go to the Roxbury Contemporary Resort at Stratton Falls too. Beautiful up there this time of year. So to me, we have a PR problem, and we need to stop letting people just hear the negative about our country, what's going on internally, and just see how beautiful this country is. You know, people want to come to Times Square, and people want to come to all these big cities, but you go to all these small little rural towns and these smaller cities. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous, and they're fascinating. So we have a PR problem.
Yeah. We certainly do. But one of the things that U.S. Travel has done in conjunction with other groups and agencies is they've created a lot of great videos. And I know that for the 100th anniversary of the national parks, which I believe was last year or the year before, they helped fund a series of IMAX videos that are going around the world to show off how freaking amazing our topography is and our different regions, you know?
Yeah. And our friend of the show, Samantha Brown, has a beautiful show on PBS that shows off this country. So there's a lot done, but we really need to ensure that we're bringing more people to this country, but making it easier. So I don't have any experience with how to do that, but I'm sure, like I said, if it gets focused, it gets done.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Anthony, is there anything else that's on your mind today that you want to get out there before?
I want your advice for people, not for me personally, but just for people. So, well, there's two questions I have on my mind. I don't know why. Yeah. You are now a father of college children.
Correct.
First year, twins. Mm-hmm. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. They're coming home Monday/Tuesday next week. Can't wait to have the family back together for Thanksgiving holiday. And it's great. And I'm sure you experience this too. Once they're out of the house, they really start to become more of their own people in a real and meaningful way. And I'm seeing them maturing. I'm seeing them changing. And I'm seeing them accept responsibility and do things they never would have ever done while still living under this roof full time.
They actually shower and feed themselves, right?
I know they're feeding themselves because they're still alive. I can't vouch for the showering. I haven't gotten any odors floating this way from Boston or Lancaster.
It really is fascinating, and I know you were very nervous about that. So I'm really glad to hear that it's working out. And there's nothing like seeing your children start at this age, at 20, 21, 22, 23, start growing. So that's interesting. So going into 2023, Glenn, you know, as a person that has gotten to the podcast industry as quick as anyone, at the same time as Joe Rogan did.
Yeah, 12 years now, man. Can you believe it?
And you really are, and you don't do enough to promote yourself that you are that guy. And what does your business look like in 2023? And what are things that people can learn on what you're focusing in on 23, and how maybe besides our business that we work on together, that you'll be shifting?
Well, I really do hope to be doing a lot more in-person speaking engagements, keynotes, moderating panels.
Okay, so let's back up. I will be hoping to do that. What have you done to set the stage to do that? Because
I got a badass reel and a marketing letter, and I'm just getting out there and really pushing that. So I'm working it from multiple angles right now. I've already got 2, 3 secured, a couple more. That I'm wrangling with. So we'll see how that comes together. But I think I'm most excited about, we've been doing this show and it's great. And this is our opportunity to talk with people, long form, really get to know them, delve into the issues in a way that you don't get to do in a lot of places in life. But I think both of us, what we're excited about is we're going to continue to do more short form content. And next year, I expect to be ready now that I'll be coming off the road in the next few weeks. I'm finishing a studio in the basement. I'm going to create a whole new series on how you younger folks out there could learn from me and all the mistakes I made in business travel for the last 25 years. Maybe we'll be focusing on the inside and outside and some great things to do in different cities with an emphasis on Las Vegas and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be fun to challenge myself to do some new types of content next year. What about you?
Your studio's going in the basement?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a whole new podcast studio?
Building a practical set downstairs so I can have a different look and feel. I'm going to maintain this for No Vacancy Live, but I want to have more of what that YouTuber kind of thing looks like. So I've got a bookcase and I'm putting stuff in it, and I'll have it lit special, and I'll do all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God, that's fantastic, my friend.
Yes, that should be pretty good.
I can't wait to see it. Maybe you can invite me in one day.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I know we started talking about the book at the beginning, but now that it's closer, how is that going to shape your 2023, my friend?
Well, the book is just kind of on the outside of everything else that I'm going to be making announcements about going forward. But I just dropped my water. So I'm going to turn to, I haven't planned this, but since I just printed it out, I'm going to turn to a chapter that has a quote because we put a lot of quotes in.
Right.
So on page 65, in order to show up for yourself, you have to look at yourself critically. If you can't, then you're not ready for change.
Wait, say that again? Say it again? I'm sorry, I missed it. Say it again.
Okay, so hold on. I think my mic was in the right place. In order to show up for yourself, you have to look at yourself critically. If you can't, then you're not ready for change.
Yeah, that is absolutely true and pretty profound. And from what I take of that, Anthony, is if you're not honest with yourself, then you're doing yourself a major disservice. And until you get real with not only what your good attributes are, but the things you need to work on, it's going to continue to hold you back.
Yeah, right? I never think about what I'm good at. I only think about what I need to improve on.
Well,
people say
that's our world.
I had a mentality for a long time that was opposite. That I never worried about my weaknesses. I just worried about what I'm really good at, so I can get in front of everyone. And because of what you're good at, you really concentrate and just get better and better and better and better at.
Right.
You will win the race. There comes a time in your life where it's like, okay, I've won the race. I want this. I want that. I got this. I got that. You've had some successes. I've had more failures than, I've had failures and successes. But I'm in a position right now mentally where it's like, okay, what are the things that I need to challenge myself on to for the next 10 years of really, really, really what I want to focus on. And some of them are my strengths and some of them are my weaknesses. So I'm challenging myself every day to do that. So another quote is...
Before we do that, to encourage people, now remember, the big challenge I had was I was scared S-less to be a speaker, and I owned it, and I changed, and my whole career is because I made that change. Go on.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think you don't talk enough about that. Yeah. So this is to me, talk about profound. This is a quote that I think is really true if you really want to be successful in life. Not successful financially or in business or beat people or compete. If you really want to compete with yourself, this quote to me is profound, to use your word.
Okay.
You have to love the work more than you love to win.
That's right.
You have to love the work more than you love to win. Mm-hmm. And I just had a conversation with somebody this morning, and I was just like, I can't get away from it. As much as I want to do this other thing, it's like I just can't get away from this business. It's just insane of how God put this in my body. And now, whether it be teaching, whether it be speaking, whether it be shows, whether it be running hotels, developing, the closer I am to the line employee and the closer I am to teaching this business, I am literally as happy as I could be.
Yep.
The further away from it, I'm not that happy.
Yeah, I hear you. That's why you're going to continue to focus on that going forward. Any idea when this book's going to come out? People are asking.
Well, I was just told probably April.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. I have one more quote. I don't know what they are because I just printed it and they're upside down, but I'll give you one more quote because there's a lot of them.
Well, while we're waiting, Lisa says, "Do you speak in small towns?" And I'll answer that. Lisa, anytime I go through a town with less than 5,000 people, I never open my mouth, never say a word. You got that next? Got the next quote?
What the hell does that mean?
She spends. Do you speak in small towns? She means do you go do speaking engagements? Do you speak to groups in small towns? But I was just taking it literally while waiting for you to.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to be funny?
I thought I was pretty successwe but I guess we'll have to put that out to the audience to make it.
We'll find one going forward. But yes, of course, we speak in small towns, big towns. And again, the closer I get to teaching hospitality to students, the more likely you are to get me to come to smaller towns. I just love teaching this business. Like you just asked me a question about how to. What do you look for in a contractor of a building? Mm-hmm. You see how much passion I gave in that answer
Yeah,
and
it's
how
great.
specific I was, and I dare say articulate about that. That
You dare say you were.
yeah, see. So it just oozes out of me, man.
Yeah.
And I just love doing it.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. You got that last quote?
I can't find it, a quote as I'm talking to you. I'm trying to look at the camera and
That's all right. All right. Anyway,
you keep it going here. I got one.
All right.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This is another good one, man.
All right. I'm ready.
You know, and I put in the
Should I
book.
sit down?
I put in the book
Yeah.
that most of these quotes I think I came up with. However, there's probably some that are out there that somehow I either changed the words or they were in my brain. I thought I came up with them. So there, at the end, there's a legalese that said, "If I forgot to put the name over the quote, I apologize. If everybody's doing it the same way, there must be a better way."
Yep. That is a great thing to think about, because sameness, not going to help you be successful in the hospitality.
Look at we have a podcast coming out. We can't talk about it right now, but the company that's coming out with a new brand and the way they're looking at that brand, I haven't heard anybody really look at it that way, and it's brilliant. And from a financing standpoint, from a standard standpoint, from activity standpoint, and everybody's doing it the same way. They're doing a little bit different. Might be a better way.
Yeah. There's got to be a better way. I learned that from watching TV at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I want to know in your studio. I'm kind of like excited. I wish I had the.
The problem is, like, I still have yellow walls in the basement, and I put up this big, cube set thing, and now there's yellow wall coming from behind it. So now I've got to paint, and now it's going to be a whole.
What did you put up behind it?
I didn't put anything up behind. I've got a big cube like bookcase thing, and I'm going to have different little things in each of the bookcases that are representative of me as a person in the hospitality business.
The bookshelf's not like my bookshelf behind me that has.
No, it's like, think about 1 square foot cubes, kind of a thing.
Is it clear all the way through? You can see through it?
Yeah, you can see the back. I mean, I can hang something behind it.
Why don't you get a nice big piece of wood painted black?
Yeah.
Right? And then nail it to the bookshelf, and you'll never be able to tell the difference.
Or I'll just paint the wall behind it. We'll see.
We'll paint the wall behind it.
Yeah, I don't know. These are the choices I have to make, Anthony. It's going to be a very exciting holiday season around here.
So I know you're a handyman, so I'm sure you can do either one.
By handyman, he means Google someone to do it for me.
Okay, the difference between my friend across the street and myself is how many hammers we have in our toolkit. So how many hammers do you own, Glenn?
I've got like 4 or 5, and the good thing is they're all in pristine condition, basically unused.
You must be Italian though if you have 4 or 5 hammers.
I know. It's just like I've got every once in a while you got the big hammer, then you get the smaller ones, and then I inherited all the tools from my dad, and then my wife's dad gave us some stuff, and before you know it, I got all this stuff in the garage that I never used and should just get rid of.
So I'm reading some of the Lindsay Elton wrote mic drop moment. What was it? In order to show up for yourself critically, if you can't, then you're ready for change. Anthony, mic drop. Okay, thank you, Lindsay.
Yep. Cool. All right, let's get out of here. Sound good to you?
Why do we have to? It's only 48 minutes in. I don't have a meeting until 1 o'clock.
Well, it's 12:55.
Oh, well, it's late. Yeah, it's 12:55.
We started late, remember?
You have to go. Yeah, we did. But these are the things that I really like doing. I like these shows where we just kind of go off on tangents.
Yeah.
And then the audience kind of, if you notice, the audience kind of brings their own questions on shows like this.
I noticed.
So every Thursday we're going to try to do this.
Probably starting more at the top of the year, because I know we have some more guests scheduled through then. Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule right now. So,
yeah, right. Look at our schedule, because it seems like we have a lot of remotes coming up.
I'm really excited about that. I mean, we got the Vegas stuff going on. Then we're going to be down in Washington, D.C. the first week of December. And then just before Christmas, 3-4 days before, we're going to be up at the Resorts World in Catskill and the all new Chotwall Lodge from Dream Hotels. Very excited about going up there and checking that out.
It's very interesting. I'm looking at going in the city with my kids next week. And so I reached out to some friends.
Yeah.
And I reached out to our friend that runs that company you just mentioned. And the next thing I know, I look at my email and there's a confirmation
Hey.
for that beautiful resort where we're going. So I was like, wow, he wants me to go there next week. All right, let me look at it. And then it was like, no, it was for the podcast. So
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, that's too funny. And the really cool thing, Anthony, I don't know if you saw the email, but they've sent us a pre-arrival questionnaire on different things, which I think is a really cool thing.
So that's the email I'm talking about, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, for that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Another thing pretty cool, everybody, is hey, if you're watching us, why not listen to the audio feed of our podcast? Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud. You know all the places you get your shows. We are there. And if you happen to be watching, if you happen to be listening to us right now, why not give us a watch? Find us on our respective LinkedIn pages, Facebook pages, and of course on YouTube and in our catalogs at novacancynews.com. He's at Anthony Hotels. I'm at Traveling Glenn. Any final words of wisdom?
I appreciate you, brother. I'm proud of you. I'm thankful for you. And you have added so much value to this industry. And on behalf of the industry, man, you're a rock star.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And I love you. And it's so awesome. I get to work with you every day. And thanks for being one of those guys that kick me in the ass, make me a better person. All right, everybody. Remember, you've got one life. So blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
We'll see you for 2 shows next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Then it's turkey time. See you then.